graduated from Rowan University in the spring of 2022 with a sports communication and media degree. I got to actually call minor league baseball and G League basketball games while I was in school. And then I graduated, and as soon as I graduated, I went to NFL Films in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. And as much as I loved that experience, I miss putting on the headsets. I decided, you know what, talk is cheap. I have a laptop that's in my house, and so 21 months later, here we are, still on YouTube, calling games and building an incredible, loving community on here with the people that I call my Philly freaks with a capital P and a capital H. We go live for every single Phillies, Sixers, and Eagles game, and we do it like old school radio play-by-play style. I'm Jason Joseph, and this is Play-by-Play with JJ.
I showed a swung on barrel out to right field. Bye-bye baseball.
That baby is long gone.
1, 2, 3. Good evening, everybody. Welcome on into another edition of March Madness. My name is Jason Joseph. This is Play-by-Play with JJ. Can you guys hear me? Am I a little bit low? I apologize if I am. Let me go to my settings. Let's see if this is good. Broadcaster device. That's the input. I don't know, am I a little bit low? Maybe I am. Let's put this up here. There we go. Okay. That looks a lot better. Good. All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Jason Joseph. This is Play-by-Play with JJ. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button. Hit that subscribe button as well. We got the Red Storm taking on the Panthers tonight. Very excited about this game. St. John's, of course, 28-6 on the season. And Northern Iowa, they finished with a 23-12 record. Should be a fun one between the both of these teams. I got St. John's winning this game, but don't want to discredit this Northern Iowa Panthers team because they started off the season strong, and they actually have won their last 5 games in a row. They beat UIC. They also won against Bradley and had a very good performance against Illinois State. I just feel like that when you just take a look at St. John's, I just think that they just have a lot of firepower. I really do. You take a look at guys like Zuby Ejiofor, who's just had a very good season. Ozias Sellers has also been very, very strong for them as well. So they really have a very nice, well-balanced team. They have guys that can just put the ball through the hoop. They also get a lot of rebounds, and they have a lot of size to them. And that's really what I feel like this team has compared to Iowa, Northern Iowa, that is. But should be a good game. I could also see Northern Iowa starting the game off very, very strong, and then St. John's trying to make adjustments coming on into the second half. And, this could be one of those games where it really could be an upset. It could, but I just don't see that happening personally, and I'd be really shocked if that was the case. But let me know what you guys think down below. Would really appreciate that. We should be ready to get started in about just a few minutes or so. But again, hopefully you're all doing well and having yourselves a very, very fantastic day. But yeah, so that is what's going on right now. We are now 11 subscribers away, chat, from getting to the 85-50 marker, which is really awesome. So, what was I going to say? I was going to say something else. Thanks again, guys, for tuning on in earlier. I know I said that I was going to do the Alabama game, and for those of you who were here, I said that obviously I needed to get some rest. I needed to just take the rest of the afternoon off, and I'm happy to be back on here because I really feel like that I'm much more well rested. I feel like that I have. I feel like that was definitely the important thing to take care of. Andrew is here. What's going on, Andrew? How you doing, man? Good shout out to you. All right. There we go. Good. Hardcore is here. What's up, Hardcore? How you doing, man? Now good. Let's go. All right. Good. Very, very nice. Yeah, man, we've been grinding. We've been putting in the work. We've been doing a lot of stuff. And, of course, we're still covering March Madness. We did 4 games yesterday. We've been going at it very, very hard. We really, really have. And that's why this channel is going to be reaching new heights, and I'm really, really excited about that. We'll get on into the starting lineups in just a little bit. Just a little bit of more of a conversation about this Northern Iowa Panthers team. You just think about the success that they've really had this year. You really have to give a lot of credit to the whole coaching staff, and also just the way that they've been really balanced out with not only just Trey Campbell and Will Hornseth as well, but Leon Bond has really sort of been the guy that has been sort of the glue to this team. And you can definitely see that. He's been doing really, really well this year. And for him to just be able to, be able to get a lot of very good quality possessions, and for him to just be a pretty good rebound in the basketball, and, just being able to do much more on the defensive side, I think that that's been a very, very big positive step for them as well. So very, very excited about seeing what he's going to be able to do out there on the court. The 6'5", 200-pound junior who has just had himself a very, very good year for sure. Let's get this up over here. Sorry about that. This should look a lot better. Matchup Predictor says that St. John's University has an 85% chance of winning this game. I would really like to hear what your thoughts are about this. Do you think that St. John's will win this game? Would you be surprised if Northern Iowa wins this game? Because I would be surprised. I honestly would. And again, as I talked about it before, I just think that St. John's is just, I feel like that their length, their athleticism, and their strength is just going to be too much for Northern Iowa to be able to handle. But we'll see. That's the nice thing, is that, right, St. John's could have a very bad shooting night, and Northern Iowa can have a very good shooting night. And we'll see how it does go tonight. That's the interesting thing about March Madness. It really, really is. It's just a one game for all type of a thing. So we should be underway in about another 5 minutes or so. It is 7:10 p.m. Eastern Time. I am going to take a very, very quick step off. Doc J is over here. What's going on, Doc? How you doing, man? I'm going to take a very, very quick step off, all right? Don't go anywhere. I will be right back. back on into Play-by-Play with JJ. The name is Jason Joseph. Hopefully you're all doing well and having yourselves a very fantastic day. Let's take a look at some other scores around March Madness really quickly as we pull it up right now. Again, folks, if you are new to the channel, hit the thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button as well, and turn on the notification bell icons too, and that way you will know when we do go live. So as far as things go today on the men's side of the bracket, so current scores right now, Iowa is up 22-12. There's 7:03 left to go in the first half of that game. They are taking on Clemson, so Iowa ranked 9th, and Clemson ranked 8th in the South region. As far as other scores around college basketball right now, earlier today, these are some final scores. The Arizona Wildcats were able to take care of business against the Long Island University Sharks, 92-58. Not necessarily a surprise there. Braden Burries did have 18 points. Koa Pete actually ended up putting up 15 points as well. And Ivan Kachernkov ended up having a double-double, 14 points and 10 rebounds for him. And he did a very, very good job. As far as things go for Iowa State, they did beat Tennessee State by a final score of 108-74. And the big performance today from them was Killian Torrey. The freshman did very, very well. Ended up putting up 25 points, and he had 11 rebounds and 6 assists in that game. And he did a very good job. They put up 55 points in the first half, 53 points, I should say, in the second half of that game. Virginia did win against Wright State. It did not get off to the best start for Virginia, but then just taken on over in that second half was Jakari White, who just had himself a very, very good day. A guy that's averaging about 8.8 points per game. He had 26 points in this one. He did very, very well. Alabama did win against Hofstra, and they were led by LeBaron Philon Jr., who had just had himself another fantastic day for him. He had 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists, and did a very good job. Texas Tech, we called that game earlier. They won against Akron, and they ended up beating them by a final score of 91-71. Tennessee, the Vols, ended up winning against Miami, Ohio. So they did very, very good. The Miami Redhawks, that is, excuse me. And so they won that game. That game's final score was 78-56. Kentucky did win in overtime. What a game that was. We got to see that earlier today. Kentucky ended up, they were down by 3 against Santa Clara. Santa Clara hit a nice go-ahead bucket to put themselves up by 3 with about 2.5 seconds left, and then Kentucky tied it with a half-court buzzer beater. And it was just a very, very good shot. Utah State also actually ended up beating Villanova today by a score of 86-76. I actually had Villanova winning that game today. I was a little bit surprised that the Aggies were able to take care of business. But Bryce Lindsey did have a good day. It was just not enough. He had 25 points, but he just could not overcome Mason Falsev and also MJ Collins Jr., who had a combined 42 points in this game. They shot 16 for 28 from the field and just did a lot of damage. They really, really did. So those are all the scores right now. Northern Iowa is going to be taking on St. John's in a matter of just a couple of minutes. UCF will be playing against UCLA at 7:31. And at 7:35, you got Queens University taking on Purdue. At 9:25, Prairie View A&M will be taking the floor against Florida. So that should be a fun one to watch. California Baptist is also going to be out in Kansas, and that game will be at 9:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Then we got Furman taking on UConn. That game will be at 10 o'clock. And then Missouri versus Miami. That game will be at 10:10 p.m. Eastern Time. So we're ready to get things started. Here are the lineups for both teams. For Northern Iowa, you got Max Weisserbrod. And then Trey Campbell, Leon Bond III, Will Hornseth, Tristan Smith as the starting 5 for them. And for St. John's, it's Dylan Darling at the 1, Isaiah Sellers at the 2, Dylan Mitchell at the 3, Bryce Hopkins is over at the 4, and Zuby Ejiofor is at the 5. Patrick Adams, Rick Crawford, and Nathan Hall are the officials for tonight's game. So we are ready to get things rolling. Northern Iowa is in their purple and gold uniforms, purple and white and gold uniforms, and they're pretty cool. St. John's is in their white and red uniforms, and they got the jersey numbers on the front side just below the letters of St. John's. And we are underway. Here we go. So tip-off belongs to St. John's as they are going to be moving from right to left. So it's underway right now. St. John's, number 5, taking on Northern Iowa in their purple uniforms, who are ranked number 12. Here's a little baby hook shot that's up, and it's no good. And that is going to be Northern Iowa basketball. All right, so there we go. We are up and running. 7:25 p.m. Eastern Time. That is the starting time of this game. So Smith, Hornseth, Bond, Weiserbrod, and Campbell all out there for Northern Iowa. And that's Mitchell, Ejiofor, Hopkins, Darling, and Sellers for St. John's. There's a bounce pass that goes all the way over to Hopkins, who's at the top of the key. Hopkins being heavily double-teamed and then backs up, and he hits a 3 at the top of the key as the defense collapsed. And it's a 3-0 start for St. John's. That's the start that you want if you're Bryce Hopkins, the senior, who, again, just had himself a very good game in his last time against UConn. 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists in that game. So here comes Northern Iowa. They're going to try to respond, and they're not going to be able to do so. That was Josiah Sellers who grabbed the rebound off of Trey Campbell's missed 8-foot floater that he had. All right, 18:25 left to go here in the first half of play. With the ball at the top of the left wing is Hopkins, who dumps it back off over to Darling, and Darling goes down the lane, kicks it back out again. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. They're going to pass it, and we have a foul called. That's going to be on Northern Iowa. All right, Chad, how are we feeling tonight? How are we feeling about this game? Final score predictions. Let us know down below. Love to hear what you guys have to say. Looking at the teams, isn't St. John's boys bigger? Yeah, they definitely do. As I mentioned this before, they have a lot of size. There's no doubt about it. They have a lot of size in their lineup. There we go. Okay, so is that better? There we go. That looks a lot better. Here's another nice shot that's taken by St. John's, and they're going to make it a 5-0 game. Dylan Darling just made the layup. And so it's a 5-zip start so far in the first half. The ball's going to go on out of bounds as it was last touched by, I believe, Northern Iowa. Bond the third is the one who ended up getting a piece of the rock. Just a little bit more about Bond. Leon Bond the third, 6 feet 5 inches tall. He's from Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, and he weighs 200 pounds. He's a junior this year. He's had himself a very good year. Off the dribble, putting up a 3-point shot, no good. That was Trey Campbell. He's now 0 for 2 shooting-wise in this game. The ball was corralled by St. John's. They go downhill. Darling with a 2. Count it. It's good. Dylan Darling with that 12-foot floater, or that 12-foot jumper, I should say, able to get it. But a steal on the inbound pass, and here's another 3 that's up, and that one is good. That was Sellers, Josiah Sellers, able to knock down a shot, and it's a 10-0 start for St. John's. Josiah Sellers trying to put St. John's into the next round. And they're off to a very hot start as a timeout is taken. Damn. So it's a 10-0 start for the Red Storm. and they've been bringing it on so far. You got Hopkins with 3 points already, Darling with 4, Sellers with 3. That steal, by the way, was from Zubi Ejiofor off that inbound pass, and it was a bad inbound pass by Northern Iowa. So they are out of sorts right now, and they're going to try to get back on the same page. They are led by Ben Jacobson, who has been their head coach. So he has been coaching this Northern Iowa team. A little bit more about Ben Jacobson. Well, he's 55 years old. He's been at the position of head coach for Northern Iowa since 2006. He was an assistant at North Dakota and North Dakota State and Northern Iowa before taking over as head coach at Northern Iowa in 2006. His record as stands is 397 and 258. So 397 wins, that's good enough for a 606 winning percentage. So he is so far 4-4 in NCAA tournament play so far. So this will be his 9th time that he has played in an NCAA March Madness game as far as coaching goes. So it's a 10-0 start. Again, in case you missed it so far, in this game, you had some very good shooting from this St. John's team, including a 3-pointer by Bryce Hopkins, a 2 by Dylan Darling. It was a layup that he was able to make. Darling also hit a 12-foot jump shot, and then Oziah Sellers ended up knocking down a 3 after the steal that they had off the inbound pass, the bad inbound pass by Northern Iowa. So again, final score predictions. Let us know what you guys have to say about that down below. We now need 10 more subscribers for us to get to 8,550 subs. Hopefully, again, you guys are able to follow along. So over the last minute and 50 seconds, it's just been all St. John's. Red Storm have been taking on over. By the way, St. John's, they did end up winning the Big East Conference this year. UConn was a game behind them as far as conference play does go. They were 18-2 in conference play, St. John's. UConn was 17-3. Villanova 15-5. Seton Hall was 10-10. And they finished off the season with a 21-12 record. Here's another steal by St. John's. Excellent play by Mitchell, and he's going to solo it and go down with a flush as well. Are they going to count it, though? Dylan Mitchell ended up getting the steal, and I think that they're going to say that a foul was called right before his dunk that he attempted. There was a foul called on Trey Campbell right before, and that was a smart foul. Had to do that. Want to try to slow the game down and make him earn those 2 shots over at the line. Refs are gathering together, though. And I believe that they are going to... I don't know what they were signaling to each other. Are they going to count the 2? Grabbed onto the jerseys. Is that a clear path foul? Max Weisbrot is going to sub on now for Northern Iowa. Dylan Mitchell is going to be at the line. Ben Schweiger is also going to be in as well. So they do count the layup, and they will say that the foul also occurred as he was going up with the ball. So it's a 12-0 start by St. John's. And the end one is up, and that one is good.
Excellent.
Dylan Mitchell ends up knocking down the layup. So give him 3 points and 2 rebounds in this game thus far. And Northern Iowa just not being able to do anything so far in this one. The ball is going to go on out of bounds as Hornseth lost the ball, and it will be St. John's ball again. They just cannot find a way to just get into this one so far. Hornseth, Bond, Campbell, Schweiger, and Smith have all been cold to start off this game so far. Northern Iowa is actually 0 for 3 shooting-wise from the field, and they've only attempted 1 3. Here's a 3-pointer by St. John's. That's up, and that's no good. And the ball gets tipped the last touch by St. John's, and it'll be Northern Iowa basketball. So the Panthers will take on over with this possession here. And on the inbound, it's actually going to be Schweiger who's going to inbound the ball. They're going to be providing some full court press. Iowa actually is up 32-25 against Clemson with 15 seconds left to go in the first half of that game. So with the rock is Campbell. That is Trey Campbell, the senior, 6'4", 195-pound guard, and he will deliver it and try to go up with a 2. That was Schweiger, and he could not get it to fall that time. 13-0 St. John's. They try to steal it, and they do. And here's an outlet pass that's going to be thrown all the way over to Bond. What a nice play. As Dylan Mitchell ended up getting a nice little block. And then Osiah Sellers had a bad pass. Trey Campbell got the steal. And the 2-pointer by Leon Bond was up and good. Here's a step-back 3 that's up and on in by Osiah Sellers. And that will make it now 16-2 St. John's. They are 3 for 4 from downtown today. And they've just been toying with this Northern Iowa Panthers team. So we played about 5 minutes in this first frame so far. Hornseth with it, and now he has to try to pass it. He'll hand it off over to his teammate Schweiger, who goes back over towards the top of the wing, tries to put up a 3, and that ball is blocked. He ended up missing that shot, Schweiger, and getting a little piece of the rock there. Looked like it was Campbell. And we have another stoppage in play with 15:02 left remaining in the first half of play here. Oh, man. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Turn on the bell icons too, folks, and that way you will know when we do go live. Yes, we got ourselves Hamlin's over here. Lewis is also here as well. Can Northern Iowa come back? I mean, they can, but they are just getting absolutely toyed with right now. So the foul is on Ben Schweiger, and we have a TV timeout taken at the 15:02 marker. So it's a 16-2 start again. In case you're just tuning on in, St. John's has been shooting the ball 75% from downtown. They've made 3 of their first 4 threes and have just been very, very strong shooting-wise from the field. They've also are shooting 6 for 8 from the field as well. Meanwhile, Northern Iowa just 1 for 6. They got a dunk on a fast break transition by Leon Bond III. Other than that, though, nothing really much else in this game so far. Where are you guys tapping on it from? Let us know down below. Benny is here. What's going on, Benny? How are you? Can they cut it to at least a 5-point deficit? I don't know, man. I really don't. I expect that St. John's is going to blow out Northern Iowa, but that obviously can change, but I really do. I mean, they're just showing exactly why that they're the better team against this Northern Iowa team. So where's everybody tapping on in from? Let us know down below. Lewis says, I got 72-43 St. John's. Yes. Okay, there you go. What's up, Lewis? How you doing, man? Again, folks, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. We go live for Phillies baseball, Sixers basketball, and Eagles football. We also do MLB baseball. We do NBA basketball, NCAA basketball, and, of course, NFL football on this channel as well. So hopefully you guys do enjoy the content, and make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. Betty says, what's going on? Dude, how you doing, man? It's so good to see you. It really is. Happy to see everybody on here. I really am. So again, Northern Iowa this year, they finished with a 23-12 record, and they were just able to make it on into the dance. They are on a 3-game winning streak. They ended up turning business or beating the UIC Flames by a score of 84-69. Campbell did have 23 points in that game, and he ended up going off for them. But against the St. John's team, they've just been really struggling against their defense so far, and have just not played very well at all whatsoever. Oh, boy. Let's put this over here. There's a step-back fadeaway three-pointer for St. John's. That's up, and that's no good. So Sellers couldn't hit the shot that time. And Northern Iowa's going to get the ball back. St. John's fast starts tonight. They're on a 13-0 run. In the Big East Championship game, they started off on a 10-0 run and ended up doing a very good job in that game. St. John's now is going to get Sellers involved with the basketball as he puts up a three-point shot. He misfires it, and the ball is corralled by Smith for Northern Iowa. So it's Smith, Campbell, Diouf, Schweiger, and Taylor that are out there for Northern Iowa. And here we go, fumbling with the basketball, but still keeping the possession alive. That's Campbell, and he puts up a floater inside. That one won't fall either. Rebounded by Darling. Darling over on the near side over to Sellers. Sellers looking to pass the ball, gets pinballed and stolen by Schwager. It looks like maybe Campbell got a hand on in there. So he'll pass it over to Smith out in transition. He puts up a two, and there's a foul called with 13:55 left to go. Ismail Diouf is the one who ended up getting the steal, and they're going to call a foul on Isaiah Sellers, who has 6 points in this game and is 2 for 4 from the field. So some free throws are going to be coming on up for Tristan Smith, the senior, who's been putting up 9 points per game this season and 5 rebounds and 2 assists as well. Cannot make the first free throw, and he will go to the line for one more. This guy at the line this year, by the way, is shooting 68%. So this is his only season that he has been playing for Northern Iowa. He'll be at the line for one more, and the free throw is up, and that one is good.
Excellent.
So right now it is a 16-3 start, and Smith is going to head on over to the sideline very quickly. All right, so he makes the second foul shot. 16-3, St. John's up by a baker's dozen, and we're going to see Ejiofor trying to tip it off over to Darling. Darling with a dribble handoff that goes back over to Sannon, and Sannon, who just came on in, that is Jason Sannon, will try to take it all the way over towards the cup, and we have a shot that's made by Isaiah Sellers off the nice assist by him. And so 13:20 left to go in this first half of play. Taylor looking to hand it off back on over to Weisbrod, who just came on in for Northern Iowa. That's Max Weisbrod. He'll get the ball downhill over at the post and dump it on in over to Hornseth, and his layup is no good. It's now 18-3. St. John's up by 15 points. Leoto Palace is going to go downhill with a head of steam, and we have another stoppage in play. Looks like that we had a missed field goal there by Hornseth, and the foul was actually called on Mike Weisbrod. Two more free throws coming on up for St. John's, and they're going to capitalize on the first one. Zubi Ejiofor, what a year that he had. Won Big East Player of the Year, Big East Defensive Player of the Year as well. He's had a lot of success. And the free throw is up, and that one is good to make it 20-3. Ian Jackson is going to sub on in for St. John's, and Dylan Darling is going to take a little seat. And we have another stoppage in play with 12:46 left to go. And with that, we'll take a very quick step off. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. So it's a 20-3 start for St. John's. They lead it by 17 points. Hornseth looking to fade away and take a two-pointer there, and that one won't go. The ball ends up going off at the fingertips of Hopkins. So we have ourselves another stoppage in play, and it'll be Northern Iowa basketball still. How about the Red Storm over their last 2 seasons? They have a 59-11 record, 2 straight Big East titles for them. And again, they've just been playing some very, very good basketball over these last couple of years. We do have a couple of more substitutions. R.J. Taylor is going to sub on out for Northern Iowa. Ben Schweiger is also going to sub out too. And Trey Campbell and Leon Bond are going to come on in with 12:25 left to go. Northern Iowa backed out there on offense. It's Campbell driving down the lane, tries to hit the layup, but he's fouled. Won't let that he got fouled there and pushed and shoved by Jackson. Ian Jackson, a sophomore, 6 feet 5 inches tall, 195 pounds from the Bronx, averaging 9.6 points per game this year and 2.3 rebounds as well. Trey Campbell is at the charity stripe, and his first free throw is up, and it is good to make it 20-4. Arizona beat LIU today by a score of 92-58. Purdue is up against Queens. 15-10 is the score of that. Here's a free throw that goes halfway in, and then it just twirls on out at the last second. It's just been that time of a day for Northern Iowa, and the Panthers are down by 16 points. Here's a shot that goes up. That one's no good. Offensive rebound, and the ball is going to be dribbled around the timeline, and taking it all the way over towards the near side is Prey, and Prey puts up a 2, and he's fouled. Ruben Prey, a sophomore from Lisbon, Portugal. We've seen a lot of substitutions made from the both of these teams so far. They've been getting a lot of guys involved. So far, 9 players have played for St. John's, and 9 now for Northern Iowa. And with that, we have another timeout in the action, as Ian Jackson ended up getting the offensive rebound. They called a foul on Will Hornseth. And so there will be another stoppage in play with 11:58 left to go, and another break in the action. Antonio's here. What's going on, Antonio? I got 2,000 on a 7-leg parlay. UVA, Iowa State, Alabama, Tennessee, Purdue, and St. John's. If it hits, I get 1,600. Wow, that's a lot of money, man. I wanted to add Texas Tech, but they're up and down. I would have made 2,000 or 2,200. Man, what's going on, dude? Hopefully, again, that you're doing well. Just need St. John, Purdue, and Kansas. I got you, man. Thanks so much for being on here. I appreciate it. Any of you guys also have any other bets going tonight for this current game that's on right now, or for any of the other March Madness games? $2,000, that's a lot, dude. That is a lot. For sure. Oh, man. Northern Iowa Panthers, by the way, the money line for them is at plus 2,200. For St. John's, they're at minus 10,000. How about Utah State? They rallied, and they were able to beat Villanova. MJ Collins at a steal and a one-handed dunk to give him 20 points with about 1 minute and 13 seconds left to go in that game. Utah State opened its Utah State was able to just get themselves their 4th straight NCAA tournament by beating Villanova on Friday. 86-76 was the score of that game. Folks, the name is Jason Joseph. This is Play-by-Play with JJ. Gaming Native. I love that name, by the way. I need St. John's and 134-plus game points in this one. Got you, man. Got you, dude. Lou says, I hope that you win. Yeah, I hope that y'all win too, man. I really do. I hope that you guys win. You guys are awesome. And again, thank you again so much for being on here. We go live for March Madness games. We're also doing Major League Baseball, a lot of Major League Baseball content this year. If you guys like baseball. If you are into it, make sure that you guys check out that content that we do as well. We also cover the Eagles, the Sixers, and the Phillies, and you should definitely check back and check out our other content that we do for that. I don't know why my throat's starting to bother me, but it is what it is. A 20-4 start for St. John's. They've been playing very good basketball. We have a free throw that's coming on up. Tristan Smith is also going to sub on in for Northern Iowa. And Gian Hutchins will take a seat. Ruben Prey makes the first foul shot. Rocking the dreadlocks, and the second free throw. He can't hit it that time, and the ball is going to be chased around by Smith, and he will corral his second rebound of the game for the Panthers. As again, they go from left to right. Campbell looking to pass it. The ball goes over to the top of the key, over to Hornseth. Hornseth now has to hand it off, and he will over to Campbell. Not getting a lot of daylight, though. Campbell is going to try to tip it up, and a reverse floater is good to make it now 21-6. And Northern Iowa gets their second field goal of the game. And boy, do they need that. Here's a catch-and-shoot three-point shot for St. John's. That's up, and that's good. What a nice pass, and a very good shot as well, made by Leo Polotis. He did very well on that. 24-6, and a drive inside, and the layup is no good, but Campbell is going to get fouled. Left terrace, Leo Topolotis ends up knocking down a three, and that's what gives St. John's a 18-point lead with 11:01 left remaining here in the first half. The threes have just been coming down like rain for this St. John's offense. They are 4 for 7 from downtown, and the Panthers just have not been able to buy a bucket from downtown. Here's Trey Campbell, who has 4 points, and he's 1 for 4 from the field. Does knock down the first free throw, and the second one he gets it to go too. Excellent. 10 minutes and 55 seconds remaining in this first half of play. Northern Iowa has Smith, Hornseth, Bond the third, Weisbrod, and Campbell out there as their 5. Downhill and trying to hit the ball over to his teammate. That looked like it was Sanan. Or it was Weisbrod, excuse me. And there was a foul that was called. It'll be on Max Weisbrod. So that is going to be a turnover. The ball is inbounded. St. John's is going to swing the hot potato around the timeline. And so the ball goes over to Darling. Prey now has it downhill on the block, being heavily guarded by Hornseth. Prey tries to go up with a 2. That's no good. And fighting for the rebound is Hopkins. He was in a lot of traffic there. And so he puts up the shot. That's up, and it is not going to count. There was a foul that was called just on the floor. And more substitutions coming on in for both teams. Looks like that Prey, as soon as he got the rebound up, he stepped on that out of bounds. His right toenail actually just hit the baseline, and that's what the turnover was. 10:25 left to be played in this first half, as Northern Iowa is 2 for 9 shooting-wise from the field in this game. Dylan Mitchell is going to come back on in for St. John's. Josan Sanan is going to sub on out. Here's a floater inside by Northern Iowa. That's up, and that's good. Excellent play call there, and a very good hustle play. On the other side, as Leon Bond made the layup, on the other side we had another stoppage in play. There was an attack that was going on over towards the basket, and a foul was called on Trey Campbell. Oh, man. We have a trade alert. Philly is getting pick number 114, the Eagles, and pick number 197. So they got a 4th and a 6th round pick, and they're sending a 4th and a 6th round pick to Atlanta along with Sidney Brown. Did that just happen? Wow. Free throw number 1 is good, but foul shot number 2, that's up and that's no good. Zuby Ejiofor subbing back on in for St. John's. And Dylan Darling, who missed the second free throw, had Will Hornseth get the rebound. Floater is up inside by Northern Iowa, and that one will not fall. We have a steal, though, by Northern Iowa as they have numbers. Schweiger looking to hand it off to his teammate. As back out there is Campbell. Campbell delivers it over to Hornseth. And Hornseth is at the top of the key looking to hand it off again. Back over to Schweiger. Schweiger will hand it off, and a 2-point shot is up, and it's no good. A lot of dribble handoffs just on that one possession there for Northern Iowa. Just could not find any sort of creativity in their offense. Downhill, putting up a 2, laying it on up and laying it on in is number 24, Ejiofor, and that's now his second bucket of the game. Give him now 4 points. He's 2 for 3 shooting-wise from the field. Dylan Darling ends up getting the assist that time. Ejiofor, 26-10, St. John's, and here's a big, deep 3 that's up, and it's good by the Panthers. Shooting it from the top of the key and knocking that one down is Trey Campbell, and that is the first 3-pointer that Northern Iowa has made in this ball game so far. Campbell with 8 points. Looking for a response on St. John's and knocking down a 3 at the top of the perimeter. Well, that was Mitchell who was able to knock it on down, or Zuby Ejiofor, I should say. And that'll make it now 29-13. Red Storm up by 16 points. Another nice steal. That was an incredible play by Ejiofor, who's been very active on both sides of the ball. He's been very well known for his defense this year. That's why he won Defensive Player of the Big East. Going to hand it off, and there's another 3 that's up, and it's in on the far corner by Sellers. Hosea Sellers knocks it down, and another timeout taken by Northern Iowa. So they are just blowing them out. 32-13 is the score. And St. John's just driving it up and controlling the tempo. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you very, very soon. folks. If you are new to the channel, hit the thumbs up button. We are now 9 subscribers away from getting to the 8,550 marker. If you are new, the name is Jason Joseph. This is Play-by-Play with JJ. We're just diving on into the March Madness world, and we hope that you guys appreciate the coverage so far. St. John's 11 for 17 shooting-wise from the field. Northern Iowa, they are 4 for 16. They are 1 for 3 from downtown. Campbell's the one who hit the only 3 for them. But he is 2 for 6 shooting-wise from the field, and he does have 8 points in this game so far. Thanks again, man. Gaming Native, you are the man. He says, like for the stream, subbed for pronouncing the name right. I'm sure that people get it wrong all the time, man. I really try. I really do. I try to make sure that I try to get everybody's name correctly, and if not, I do try to ask. You know, I really do, because I care about getting these names correctly. But I knew. I mean, that was just one of those times where I was like, yep, I know what he's doing, and I love it. I love it. That's beautiful. Hosea Sellers, who just knocked down a 3, is smiling over for the St. John's side of things. 32-13, 7:45 left to be played in this first half of play. Northern Iowa's going to swing the hot potato around, and there's a wide open 3 that's up, and that's the second 3 that they knocked down today. Weisbrod ends up getting himself a wide open 3 at the top of the perimeter, and that'll cut the deficit in half to 32-16. All right, so it's Mitchell who's going to get the ball downhill. Hopkins now has it, but it's intercepted and stolen, and it actually got stolen back by St. John's, and a fight for the loose ball over on the ground, and then it'll be Northern Iowa possession. Wow. After Weisbrod hit that 3, there was some pushing and shoving going on downhill, and we saw a lot of physicality going on between Hopkins and also Schweiger as well. Or was that Smith? It was Smith. Schweiger is going to inbound it here. So Dylan Mitchell had that bound pass, and Tristan Smith ended up recording the steal. Campbell looks to dump it off. They swing the hot potato around, and the ball goes over to Bond. Bond's at the top of the key. Schweiger gets the handoff. Schweiger gets it back. Over towards the far side now is Smith, who drives it downhill. Smith is looking for a little bit of some breathing room. Excellent defense by Hopkins on the first try. No, on the second try, he got it up and on in. Ejiofor is the one who ended up putting it up and in. And now it's a 32-18 game after St. John's got off to a hot start. Northern Iowa, the Panthers have provided their counterpunch, and they've been doing an excellent job sizing up this St. John's big defense that they've been able to provide. Ejiofor just not doing his job downhill, and Tristan Smith is the one who just bodies him and makes the layup. 32-18 is now the score. And the clock stops with 6:48 left to go. Let's go. All right, how we doing on those likes, man? Where's everybody tapping on in from? What else are you guys betting on tonight, for those of you that are into sports betting? Or sorry, what do you guys like to bet on, I should say? Are you baseball bettors? Are you basketball bettors? You know, just March Madness? What else do you like to bet on? Just out of curiosity. Uncommon Trust Shaman. I hope I said that correctly. Oh, he says, chop on and go Braves. Yes, sir. All right, 32-18, 6 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in this first half of play. After St. John's calls a timeout, they're going to have possession of the basketball. We'll see what they drew up out of this timeout. Darling looks to pass it, and here's an open three-point shot by Ejiofor, and he cannot knock it down that time over on the left wing. 32-18, Northern Iowa has the ball, and another stoppage in play. Another stoppage in play is going to occur, as they call a foul on Dylan Darling. Talked a little bit about Dylan Darling and his stats this year, but this is a guy who really, just when you watch him play, he's very sneaky. He is very crafty with his moves. He has very good footwork, and he can make you pay, with his dribble handoff moves and with his dribble skills, I should say. The dribble handoff that goes over towards the near side. Hopkins looking to try to play defense. Hornseth passes it, and the three-point shot is up, and it's going to go in and out for Northern Iowa. They are 2 for 5 shooting-wise from downtown. St. John's is now 6 for 10. They've missed their last 2, though. They were 6 for 8 to start off the game, and Northern Iowa's done a very much better job on the perimeter defending them. Downhill and driving it over towards the interior post is Hopkins, and he is fouled. He had a lot of traffic and actually ended up hitting a traffic jam, and Bryce Hopkins will head to the line to shoot a pair of free throws for St. John's. All the above, my friend. Wow. So you bet on it all, says just me. Your baseball. Do you bet on hockey too? Just out of curiosity. Foul on Leon Bond. That's what it was called. 5 minutes and 36 seconds left to go in this first half of play. 32-18, St. John's is in the driver's seat right now. We also, by the way, just taking a look at the other scores, Iowa is playing Clemson. It's a 35-31 score there. Second free throw is made, and it's now 33-18 as Bryce Hopkins knocks it down and increases the St. John's lead. They, by the way, are shooting 5 for 9 from the line in this game. Weisbrod is going to pass it downhill over to Hornseth, and Hornseth trying to be this man Ejiofor, and he does, and he will get fouled too. Tell you what, the defense by Zuby Ejiofor has really not been so sharp so far over these last couple of possessions. Guys are just making buckets over him. And we have an and one opportunity as Hornseth is going to head on over to the line. 2 points for Will Hornseth. He's 1 for 3 from the field tonight. And we have another foul shot coming on up for Northern Iowa, and they can't hit it that time. The rebound belongs over to Brian Hopkins, and he'll corral his third board of the game. 8 points in the paint for St. John's and 10 for the Panthers. Little lob pass that goes downhill, and that was nearly stolen away. They have to give it back over to the top of the key as Hopkins has it back. Hopkins will dump it on off and give it to his point guard, Darling. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Darling steps back, lets it fly for a three. It's a little bit short. Rebounded by the Panthers. And here they come on the other side. Weiserbrod is going to go downhill and pass it over to his teammate in Bond. Bond on the near side, fades away, turns around, tries to hit a two. Excellent defense made by Sellers that time. Sellers downhill to Mitchell, kicks it back over towards the outside on the far corner, and now gives it downhill, and a two-pointer is up by Ejiofor, can't get it the first try, and on the second try, I believe that he ended up getting fouled, and there's 4:22 left to be played in this first frame. 33-20 is the score. St. John's has a 13-point lead. They ended up calling a foul on the Panthers. They will say that it was on R.J. Taylor for pushing and shoving Ejiofor right in the shoulders. Man. Sometimes mainly baseball, basketball, and football, boxing as well. Ooh, you like boxing. Wow. That's cool. That's very cool. 8 points for Ejiofor, and 4 rebounds and 2 blocks for him as well. We'll be covering more of the March Madness stuff. We also do this thing for MLB during the season. It's called MLB Diamond Zone. So if you're like really, really into baseball, the best way that I can explain it is it's like Red Zone, but it's for baseball. And so you get like 7 to 8 different games at once, and we'll change the scoreboards, and we go to like the hot games at that moment in time. So if Manny Machado is up with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 8th inning, we'll call that. And then in between the pitches, we might have a Yankees game that's on, and they might be able to walk it off too if Giancarlo Stanton is up at the plate with bases loaded as well. So it's really fun, and we have ourselves a blast doing that. That's called MLB Diamond Zone. We did about 12 streams last year, and some of them were like 12 hours because we'll do it on Thursdays and on Mondays, and it's a lot of fun. And if you're into that type of stuff, you should definitely check that out, and you should subscribe to the channel. 38-20 as St. John's just made a three. Excellent shot there as Dylan Darling got the steal. And the three-pointer was made with about 4:02 left to go by Bryce Hopkins. Here's another three attempted by Bond by Northern Iowa. He can't get it that time. And St. John's will try to take on over again. Downhill is Hopkins. He lays it up. He lays it in. Tough defense by Campbell. Just better offense by Hopkins. And so St. John's on a 7-0 run over the last 65 seconds of play. 40-20 St. John's. A layup is up and it's good. That was very well contested. Hornseth just got it on in. And that was pretty impressive. On the other side, scissoring past the defense is Darling. And he is going to go to the line and shoot some free throws after the timeout here with 3:04 left to be played. It's a 40-22 game. And St. John's in cruise control right now. So, yeah, we do that. It's a lot of fun. Should definitely go check that out. Time is it? It's 8:12 p.m. Eastern time, man. Time flies. I'm so happy that we took the afternoon off today. I really am. I definitely needed that sleep. We've been going at it really hard. We've been doing the World Baseball Classic. We did the Japan games. We actually did 23 streams for World Baseball Classic. Like, we were really, really committed to the grind. And I've been still doing Phillies spring training games. Obviously, now not so much. And same thing with Sixers basketball. I haven't gotten a chance to do Sixers games in about a week or so because these games are obviously much more important. But don't you worry, we're going to be back to Sixers basketball and Phillies baseball in just a little bit, probably starting on Monday again when there's no March Madness basketball. So that'll be fun. That'll be really cool. And you guys should definitely check us out for that as well. Oh, man. But that's pretty cool. That is sick. Oh, boy. They just announced today that Christopher Sanchez is going to be the season day starter, or the opening day starter for the Philadelphia Phillies. That's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. All right, other scores. You got UCLA up 33-21 against UCF. Purdue is up by 8 against Queens College, Queens University. 30-30 is the score for the Boilermakers, and they lead it by 8 points. Clemson's down by 5. The Tigers trailing against the Iowa Hawkeyes. 38-33 is the score of that game. And so those are all the scores currently going on in March Madness today. As far as the bracket goes, we see that Duke is going to be playing TCU in the next round on Saturday. Louisville is playing Michigan as well on the 21st. Who else do we got going on? In the South, Vanderbilt is playing against Nebraska. That should be a fun game to watch, too. VCU will be playing against Illinois as well on the 21st. And then you got Texas A&M playing against Houston. And that should be interesting. Texas A&M ended up winning against St. Mary's, so that will be a 10 versus a 2 seed. And on the other side of the bracket, Arizona is going to be playing against Utah State on the 22nd. High Point against Arkansas. That'll be on the 21st as well. And Texas and Gonzaga. Gonzaga ranked 3rd. Texas ranked 11th. They were able to upset BYU. So a couple of upsets yesterday. Michigan also is playing against St. Louis, and they were able to provide a nice win over Georgia. Texas Tech will be playing against Alabama. Tennessee is going to play against Virginia. And finally, we got Kentucky taking on Iowa State. That game will be on the 22nd as well. 42-22 is now the score. And an excellent three-pointer made by St. John's. They also play a very strong defense. And so we have ourselves another possession as Northern Iowa actually made the bucket on the other side. That was Tristan Smith who got the layup. Bryce Hopkins made a layup for St. John's, so it's a 42-24 game. And with 2:02 left to be played in the first half, there's another whistle called against Northern Iowa. I think we're going to open the window. I think that's what we should do. Oh, man. Ruben Prey is at the line. Just 1 point for him in this game so far. And his first free throw is up, and it's good for St. John's. Heard a lot about Ruben, how great of a season he has had. The forward, who's 6 feet 11 inches tall, 230 pounds. From Lisbon, Portugal. He's been a very good player this year. Missed the second foul shot. Offensive rebound, though, for St. John's. They're going to swing it around the timeline. The ball goes out over towards the perimeter. And here it is. It's now a 43-24 game. And taking a wide-open three is Darling. He was left wide open. No offensive rebound by Sellers, and he puts it back up and puts it on in. The lead is up to 21 for St. John's, 45-24 with 90 seconds left to be played in this first half of basketball. Weisbrod looks to hand it off over to Bond. Weisbrod takes a three at the top of the perimeter, and he clanks it off the front side of the rim. Mitchell corrals the rebound for St. John's as they move again over from right to left. Darling over on the right side of the lane. Zigs it around the timeline. Hands it back off, and it goes to Prey at the top of the key. Mitchell with a handoff, and a three-point shot is up by Sanan. He can't get it. Offensive board by Prey, and another three that time, and that was no good by Omari Sailors. So 11 points for him, and he is now 4 for 8 shooting-wise tonight from the field. On the dribble handoff for Northern Iowa, getting the ball was Campbell. Weisbrod handed it off to him, and Campbell does hit the two, give him now 10 points in this game, 45-26. And he is now 3 for 7 shooting-wise from the field. There's 30 seconds left to go in this first half of play. And all eyes on Sellers at the top of the key. Sellers dumps it back off over to Prey, who goes up inside with a two, and he is fouled. He hit the deck very, very hard there. Prey putting up 3.9 points per game and 1.9 rebounds as well in his sophomore season. Last game he played against the Huskies, he only played in 7 minutes and was 0 for 1 shooting-wise from the field, but they like to give him a little bit of playing time, more so towards the end of the first half. St. John's, their free throw scoring margin per game is at plus 5.2, which is 12th best in the country. Ruben Prey takes 2 dribbles at the line and puts up the foul shot. Can't be able to hit it that time. 16 and a half seconds left remaining as the rebound goes to the Panthers. All right, here we go. 8 seconds left on the shot clock here. Campbell looks to drive it downhill, scissor past the defense, and an excellent pass that goes over to Hornseth. I mean, that was a beautiful pass that he made there. You thought he was going to take the layup. Instead, he just was able to hand it off, and Hornseth got the nice little two to go on in. 47-28 is the score. It's a 19-point lead for St. John's. And with that, we're going to step aside, and we will be right back. Uni is going to come back, commence his uncommon truthsman. Yes, sir. Thanks so much for being on here. I appreciate you. All right, we'll be right back in about 5 minutes or so. back on in. Hi, everybody. My name is Jason Joseph. This is Play by Play with JJ. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and make sure that you guys turn on the notification bell icons too. All right. So yeah, let's talk about that first half. Very, very quickly. Excuse me. So it's a 47-28 start for St. John's. They really got off to a very hot start and did just an awesome job at just taking care of the basketball. It really felt like that in the first part of that first half that they just got off to a really good run. You saw some incredible shot making from guys like Dylan Mitchell. You also saw Dylan Darling make a couple of points as well. Zuby Ejiofor had himself a very good offensive start to the game and was 3 for 5 shooting-wise from the field. And he did make a 3 as well. Saw him left wide open. Bryce Hopkins was left open a couple of times, and he knocked down some of his shots. So this St. John's team has just done a very good job at providing a lot of bodies. They've been making some very good shots. Zuby Ejiofor does have 2 blocks in the game and 1 steal. There were a couple of times where there was just some really good offense provided by the Iowa Panthers, and they made him pretty much work. But overall, I would say that St. John's has really showed that they have been the better team. They're shooting the ball a lot, or very, very well from 3. And the free throw shooting has been very strong as well. And they're out-rebounding them 23-4. Excuse me. They're out-rebounding them 23-14 on the glass. I just really liked what I've seen from St. John's so far. And I expect that it's going to be the same thing in the second half of play. I think that there's a reason why that they were 89% favorites to win this game, 89% favorites to win this game. So I expect nothing less than just continuing to pick up right where they left off in that second half as they lead it again by 19 points against the Northern Iowa Panthers. And by the way, they are 23-12 on the season. Something that is really just stood out to me in this game as well is Trey Campbell still has done a pretty good job. I mean, this guy has put up 10 points today. He's 3 for 8 shooting-wise from the field. I think that if it weren't for him, you can really just see that Northern Iowa would just not even be in the same game as they are in right now. I know that they're down by 19, but his contributions have been really huge for Northern Iowa, and they've given them a fighter's chance in this game. And if they're going to want to win this game, what they're really going to have to do is try to get him more involved. They're also going to have to try to be a little bit more creative with their offensive play calling as well. But St. John's, the problem is that St. John's just has a lot of bigs. They have a lot of size. And that, I think, is what we all knew heading on into this. But can Northern Iowa, can they find a way to just make shots? Because if they can limit the amount of rebounds that St. John's has to get, they're going to have to make a lot more shots. And they're going to have to be perfect. Now, they can get hot from 3. Absolutely, they can most certainly do that. And that's what they're going to have to do if they want to win this game. They're going to have to shoot the ball at a very high percentage, and they're going to have to make very precise decisions when it comes to passing the ball, because this St. John's defense, obviously led by Zuby Ejiofor, they're really good. They're very, very good. So let's take a look at some other scores around March Madness right now, currently going on at this moment in time. Iowa is up 54-42 against Clemson with 7 minutes and 18 seconds left to go in regulation of that game. 2 other games are currently in halftime, and that is UCF and UCLA. It's 35-27. UCLA is winning by 8 points. You also got Queens University down by 12 against Purdue. The Boilermakers, 45-33 is the score of that game right now. They are 27-8 on the season, Purdue, that is. Queens University, 21-13. So, all right. And that is all that we have so far based on this game. Yes. If you are just tuning on in, make sure, again, that you guys hit the thumbs up button and hit that subscribe button as well. We really appreciate you guys for taking the time to just be on here. You guys are the absolute best. We got 25 people tapping on in with us, and again, make sure that you guys hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel as well. What else do we got going on today? Let's take a look at the women's side of the bracket, shall we? We'll do that right now. 1 second after we get this up and running over here, and we put this one back over here. So let's take a look at the women's side of the bracket as far as how things are going for them. NC State is up 26-19 against Tennessee as they ended the first quarter of that game. What else do we got? Final scores today. Texas did beat Missouri State 87-45. That was the final score of that game. Michigan did beat Holy Cross 83-48. Not necessarily a surprise for that game. LSU 116-58 was the final score of that game. Williams did post 18 points and 10 assists as well. Flau'jae Johnson, 20 points for her, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist as well for her in that game. And Michaela Williams, 10 assists and 18 points. They really went off today against Jacksonville and took care of business against those Dolphins. You also got Duke winning against Charleston. The score of that game was 81-64. Barbeau definitely had herself a great game for Charleston with 36 points, but just a little bit too much for Duke, as Duke was able to win by 17 points. Just a little bit too much for Charleston, I should say. 86-40 was the final score of the TCU game against UC San Diego. North Carolina did win 82-51. Harris had 17 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 steals, so she played very, very well. Maryland did beat Murray State 99-67. McLean, 19 points for her and 14 rebounds in that game. Minnesota won against Green Bay 75-58. And that was the final score. Amaya Battle, the senior, did very well, averaging 10.9 points per game this year. She put up 21 points for them. Old Mississippi beat Gonzaga 81-66. And again, we're talking about the women's bracket here. Turner did have 27 points. Thienow did have 12 points and 8 rebounds and 3 steals. Baylor won 67-62 against Nebraska, so they won by 5 points. And they were able to take on them, and they won. Oregon did win against Virginia Tech. The final score of that game was 70-60. And Washington ended up taking care of business against South Dakota State. And they beat the Jackrabbits in that game. The score of that was 72-54. So no upsets. None whatsoever in that game. Or none, I should say, today, as far as things do go. We got Villanova taking on Texas Tech at 8:30. Tonight at 10 o'clock, Idaho plays against Oklahoma. Tennessee is down by 7 against NC State. 26-19 is the score there. And Colorado State is taking on Michigan State. They are in halftime right now, 29-27. And that is all on the women's side of the bracket, of the March Madness bracket. So once again, St. John's up 47-28. Halftime should be over momentarily. And Purdue and Queens University still in halftime as well. 45-33 is the score over on the West Region side of things. UCLA does lead at 35-27. That game is at halftime. Iowa is up by 6 against Clemson. 54-48 is the score of that game with 5 minutes and 31 seconds left to be played over there. At 9:25, you got Prairie View A&M taking on Florida. And then we got California Baptist playing against Kansas at 9:45. Furman's playing UConn at 10 o'clock. And then we got Missouri and Miami on at 10:10 p.m. Eastern Time. So, yeah, let us know what you guys are doing. It's a rain day, says Nicholas. What's going on? What's going on, man? How are you doing? Shout out to you for being on here and for tuning on in down below. If any of you guys are baseball fans, by the way, we can actually look at some of the scores over there. The Marlins actually lead it 3-2 against the Nationals. Blue Jays, they won 2-1 against the Twins. Phillies and Tigers did tie today. 4-4 was the final score of that game. Rays beat the Red Sox 2-0. The Cardinals, they beat the Mets 4-3. Angels, they beat the White Sox 4-3 in that game as well. The Braves ended up taking care of business. They're actually in the top of the ninth inning right now. Pirates are down to their final strike. 8-1 is the score over there. Astros and Marlins, it's a 7-4 game. That game is in the top of the eighth inning. Yankees up 3-0 in the bottom of the eighth against the Baltimore Orioles. And then the Royals lead a 2-0 against the Giants. That game is in the bottom of the third. Reds play the Cubs tonight at 9:05. And then you got the Mariners and the Guardians on at 9:05 as well. Padres and Dodgers on at 9:05. And at 9:10, it'll be Cubs and Athletics. So those are your scores around spring training. And finally, last but certainly not least, in the NBA, we have 5 games going on tonight. The Celtics are up 29-27 against the Grizzlies. The first quarter is done. The Knicks are down by 8 points against the Brooklyn Nets with 1:26 left to go in the first half. It is 47-39. Golden State Warriors trail 57-50. DeAnthony Melton has 14 points. Jenkins has 9 for the Pistons. The Hawks playing against the Rockets. It's 34-27. Smith Jr. with 10 points and Jalen Johnson with 7. 34-27 is the score there. The Trailblazers lead at 35-30 against the Timberwolves. And then the Raptors are playing against the Nuggets, and that game will begin at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Time. So those are your scores around the NBA, and we shall be ready to get started with the second half of play between St. John's and Northern Iowa out over at Viejas Arena in San Diego, California. There we go. Okay, so St. John's tied for most points in the first half of NCAA tournament game. They had 47 points in 1993 against Arkansas. They're going to be going from left to right now, as a three-point shot is up and out by Sellers. And he was looking to pick up right where he left off in the first half. Not that time. Downhill over on the block is Bond. Looking to spin around, fade away, take a 2 right in his defender's face. And that one worked out very, very well. Bond now give him 8 points. Leon Bond, the junior, who's 6 feet 5 inches tall and 200 pounds, makes it 47-30. And we have a whistle called. That'll be on St. John's, and it'll be Northern Iowa basketball. They call a foul on Dylan Mitchell, and that's going to result in a turnover for them. Okay. Downhill for Northern Iowa. Looks like that they just gave it up over towards the near side. Campbell now has the rock. Campbell dumps it back off to his teammate, that is Smith, who's number 14. And Smith's 2-point shot won't go. And the ball does go on out of bounds. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and turn on the notification bell icons too. And that way you will know when we do go live. 47-30 is the score. St. John's up by 17 with 18 and a half minutes left to be played in the second half. Here's a catch-and-shoot three-point shot that's up, and it's no good. Mitchell tried to get the shot up and in. Offensive rebound, though, by St. John's. They have an extra set of life now. Tompkins at the top of the key looks to dump it off over to Ejiofor, and Ejiofor nearly lost the ball. The ball gets kicked and battered around. It'll go on out of bounds. It actually almost went out of bounds, but it was picked up by an Iowa player, and the layup is good to make it 47-32. Bond the third got the shot up and in, and Northern Iowa is fighting their way back into this game, and St. John's will take a timeout. Forgot to go get my remote. They've only played 2 minutes in this second half. 47-32. St. John's only up by 15 as it's a 4-0 start for Northern Iowa. All right, let me go get my remote. I will be right back in just a few seconds. Don't go anywhere. All right, we are back up and running, so that's good. Let's make sure that we put this up and over here. Nice. 49-32, St. John's up by 17 points. They actually just made it too. It was Dylan Darling who ended up getting the layup to fall with 17:38 left remaining in the second half of play. 49-32, Red Storm up by 17 points. They're going to hand it off over to Weisbrod, who goes downhill, and they'll dump it back off over to Bond, the third, on the near side. Bond's been very active in the offense so far. Hornseth now goes downhill, tries to buzz past his defender in Ejiofor, and it does not work that time. Excellent defense by him, as the little baby hook would not fall there. The dribble handoff for Darling. Darling gives it back over to Hopkins at the top of the key. Spins around, turns around. The layup was just a little bit too strong. Northern Iowa looking to attack again on the offensive side. The layup is up, and that is denied by Mitchell. That was Hornseth who tried to go up with a layup there, and it was just a beautiful rejection on that side. Wide open three by St. John's. They can't fire it that time. Bryce Hopkins missed the 24-foot shot and was not able to knock it on down. Smith delivering around the timeline, gives it back over to Campbell. Campbell over to Hornseth downhill, puts it up and puts it on in. All of a sudden, it's a 15-point game, and St. John's not off to a good start so far. 6 second-half points for Northern Iowa, and the Panthers have been taking care of business. Wow. Surprised that they've let them back into this game. St. John's again looking to take it over towards the middle of the lane. The ball got knocked loose, and it was stolen again by Northern Iowa as they come on up with the loose change. Campbell downhill to Smith. Smith looking for the behind-the-back bounce pass, and what a nice pass. That goes over to Campbell. He had eyes behind his back, and now it's a 13-point game, 49-36. It's a 10-2 run by the Panthers. Are you kidding me? Gosh, downhill, going up with a layup inside. That one won't fall. Ejiofor is going to get fouled, and we have another timeout taken at the 15:27 marker. Ejiofor looks absolutely angry. How about that beautiful pass? And I mean, just an incredible pass by Trey Campbell to find Will Hornseth. He went behind his back and got it right on by Ejiofor. That was very impressive. Hit the thumbs up button, chat, and hit that subscribe button as well. The name is Jason Joseph, and this is Play-by-Play with JJ. Thanks again for being on here as we have an official TV timeout taken. So St. John's got off to a very hot start. They were up by 19 points heading on into halftime, and now it's a 13-point lead. So Northern Iowa trying to get back into this game. We talked a lot about how Campbell was going off in that first half, but really in the second half, it's been Leon Bond III who's been putting up a lot of really strong points. And again, he had 19 points in the second-to-last game against the Bradley Braves, and was doing very well in that game. And also against Illinois State, the Redbirds, he did put up a very good performance in that one too with 19 points. He was 9 for 13 shooting-wise from the field and put up some incredible numbers. Max Weisbrod is going to sub on in, by the way. And he just came on in not too long ago for Will Hornseth, I believe. All right, chat. How we feeling? We got a quiet crowd tonight. What's going on? Again, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button and hit that subscribe button as well. Everybody doing all right? Still got 25 people on here watching. We got 30 people on here watching now. Hit that thumbs up button. We need 7 more until we get to the 30-like marker. And we are now 9 subscribers away from getting to 8,550 subs. It's great. It's very, very awesome. Oh, boy. Braves have agreed to terms with free agent Rowdy Tellez. That's a good pickup for them. Rowdy Tellez is going to go on over to the Braves. That's a sneaky move. It really is. It's a very good move for them. Tellez last year, 228 hitter with 17 homers and 49 RBI. Not saying that he's going to be an all-star, but tell you what, it's not a bad move. It's somebody that gives them more so veteran leadership, and if Matt Olson, God forbid he ever gets hurt, this guy can just plug on in and he can play. So that's it's not a bad signing at all whatsoever for them. All right, it's 49-36. We're going to have some free throws coming on up for Ejiofor as he got fouled right before the timeout in the first free throw. Hits the front side of the rim, then goes foul line left, and then it goes down the drain with ease. 50-36, St. John's up by 14. The second foul shot's good.
Excellent.
51-36, St. John's up by 15 points. They're shooting 10 for 16 from the line. They've left 6 free throws on the table. Okay. Smith looking to dish it around the timeline. The ball finds Weisbrod. His three-point shot, he airballed it, trying to save it from going on out of bounds with Smith, but was not able to save it, going out of bounds over towards the near baseline. Tried everything that he could, just not able to get there and save it. Tristan Smith averaging 9.1 points per game, 5.1 rebounds per game as well, and a little bit less than 2 assists. Okay, 15:05 left to go in this second half of play. Downhill is Ejiofor, and he lost the ball again, but he actually got it on back. He spins around, turns around, tries to hit the layup. He missed the wide-open bunny, and Weisbrod got the rebound off of his missed layup. I am shocked that he missed that. Weisbrod hands it off downhill, and very good concentration by Smith. He anticipated that Ejiofor was coming from behind. He got the pump fake to go, and he hits the 2 as well. And it's a 13-point game. St. John's only up by a baker's dozen. Heading around the timeline is Sellers. That's Osiah Sellers, who's been pretty quiet in this second half so far. Sellers gets it back, though, downhill, and looks to dump it off over to Mitchell. They'll swing it around the timeline. Here's a three-point shot on the far wing. Not that time. Sellers missed that shot, and the rebound is going to go to St. John's, and we're going to have a foul called on Northern Iowa. It was a loose ball foul. After Osiah Sellers missed the 3, Ejiofor grabbed the offensive board, and Max Weisbrod committed the foul. It was a loose ball foul called on him. 51 points for St. John's. By the way, the three-point shooting in this game, well, Northern Iowa is 2 for 7 from downtown. We got another play for Ejiofor, and he did not make the layup there, and the rebound goes to Northern Iowa once again. Northern Iowa has been playing very well in this second half so far. They'll swing it around the timeline. Good ball movement by Northern Iowa, but they're going to throw it away. The bounce pass by Campbell was just a little bit too far to the right side of Hornseth, and that's why the ball does go on out of bounds. And it'll be a turnover called. We played a little bit less than 6.5 minutes into this second half. St. John's, by the way, has now missed its last 5 field goals, if you can believe that. Ruben Prey will sub on in for St. John's, and Zuby Ejiofor is going to get a very quick rest. At the top of the key is Prey, who moves around the timeline, hands it off over to Darling. One more pass to Mitchell as he goes down towards the lane and hits the layup, finishes on the left side of the lane, and gives St. John's a 15-point lead. Pushing the tempo upward is Bond as he goes up for a 2 in the lane. No. And we have another whistle called, and that'll be against St. John's. Look at how fast they are playing. St. John's just has very good tempo that is going their way right now. And Northern Iowa is trying to push the tempo on the other side. They got off to a very hot start, but they sort of cooled off just a little bit. The foul was on Dylan Darling, who's going to take another quick breather, and Ian Jackson sub on in for St. John's. Come on in for Dylan Darling. Osiah Sellers will also take a seat, and Lefteris Leotopoulos is going to be his replacement. 53-30 is the score. Northern Iowa is going to turn the ball over. It's an 8-second violation called against Campbell. And 12:54 left to go, and I believe that they're going to challenge this. So Will Hornseth gets called for the turnover. The ball actually was inbounded, and then it went off of the left knee of Hornseth. But they will challenge, and they'll be right back. That's a lot better. Man, water's good. Definitely needed that. Oh, man. Haley is here. What's going on, Haley? Hey, JJ, hope March Madness is going well for you. I appreciate you. Thanks so much for being on here. Mr. Drummings, what's going on? Rooting for Uni to make a comeback and at the very least make St. John's work for it. Yeah, I mean, that would be really cool to see Northern Iowa try to make this a game. Tell you, St. John's, they've sort of left their foot off the gas pedal in this one, I've noticed, over the last 8 minutes of play. But then, actually, I take that back. They started off cold, and then over the last 2 minutes, they've been starting to kind of get it back together, but still, it just has not been their best brand of basketball, really. Haley, thanks so much for coming on by. I really, really appreciate you. Can't wait for baseball season, man. I'm very, very, very excited about that. 53-30, the St. John's leads it by 15 points. The call was out of bounds, or the ball was out of bounds. And they said that it was St. John's University basketball. And the call will stand. The ball did go off of Trey Campbell's left knee. So it was a turnover called on him. And St. John's will have the ball. Northern Iowa, I believe, is out of timeouts. Is that correct? Yeah. So the challenge was upheld. They get charged with a timeout with 12:54 left to go. St. John's, their lineup is this. They got Mitchell, Hopkins, Prey, Liotopoulos, and Jackson on out there for them as their starting five. Hopkins downhill, gets past the trees, lays it up, and lays it on in. Give him a baker's dozen amount of points, 13 for him. He is now 5 for 7 shooting-wise from the field in this game. His defense has been really good over the last couple of minutes as well. Speaking of his defense, well, he has to guard Schweiger here. And down the lane, Schweiger trying to go and try to posterize him. And he'll dump it off over towards the near side. Gives it back to his teammate, and that is going to be Hornseth. And Hornseth's layup is up, and it's good. Hornseth was definitely bothered downhill, but he still was able to make the layup. It's now 55-40. Will Hornseth with a baby floater, or a baby hook shot, I should say, to make it a 15-point lead. Down the lane, excellent passing that goes over to Prey. What a dime that was. Prey was able to hit the layup, but nonetheless, just excellent dishing of the basketball made by Mitchell. Dylan Mitchell gets the beautiful assist. 57-40 as St. John's now playing defense. Northern Iowa is going from right to left. Down low on the block, again, you got Prey who goes downhill, hands it off over to Hornseth, and Hornseth is fouled. $57-40. The foul was called on Dylan Mitchell. Prey did hit the layup, and he will go to the line for the old-fashioned three-point play. And we have another timeout taken. Oh, gosh. This was posted from... Oh, wait, I wanted to... Nope, that was not it. Apparently, I'm looking at this post here, chat. Apparently, A.J. Brown was in the Speakeasy live stream chat last night, and he was annoyed that the hosts were talking about him. And, who was this? There was somebody that was in the chat that was a Philly sports fan that actually took screenshots. Hey, man, talk about someone else. I rock with y'all, but let it rest, fam. And it was actually A.J. Brown. It was. It's funny. It's so funny. That is funny. Folks, the name is Jason Joseph, and this is Play-by-Play with JJ. Other scores around March Madness right now. Iowa is up 65-60 against the Clemson Tigers. There's 13 seconds left in that game. Who else do we got? We got UCLA. The Bruins are up by 7 against the UCF Knights with 11:51 left to go in that game. Purdue is doing very well against Queens University. The score of that game is 67-45. And that is all the scores that are going on right now. St. John's does lead it by 17 points. It's a 57-40 game over there. Those are all the scores so far today. Okay. Time is now 11:22 p.m. Eastern. Or sorry, it's 9:05 p.m. Eastern time. There's 11 minutes and 22 seconds left to go in the St. John's Northern Iowa game. There was an official TV timeout taken. So the inbound is going to be made by Schweiger, and he gives it all the way over to Hornseth. Hornseth to Bond the third. Weiser's going to get it on back. He'll zip it around the timeline, and the ball is going to be last touched by St. John's as it goes on out of bounds. Baumholtz says, I'm worried about him too. Haley, haven't seen him since the other day. Who's here? Have you heard from John at all? Saw Hawaii is still getting hit with some nasty weather. Was just thinking about him. Yeah, I heard from him. So he's doing good. He sent me something in the mail the other day. Haven't had the chance to open it because we haven't done a Philly stream on a Wednesday. So we gotta do that next week. We do. 11:10 left to go in the second half of play here. And here's a shot that's up and it's no good. And then it'll still be Northern Iowa basketball. Mitchell has to play defense all over Bond. And Bond's two-point shot is up and it's good. Now it's a 57-42 game. Northern Iowa's down by 15 points. St. John's again moving from left to right, and Northern Iowa is going from right to left. Good ball movement again by St. John's. Jackson at the top of the key. Dumps it back off over to Prey, and Jackson puts up a tray on the other side. Good to go. 60-42, and St. John's able to reclaim their status. Ian Jackson makes a 25-foot three-point shot, and Lefteris Liotopoulos gets the assist that time. Here's another step-back three for Northern Iowa. That shot will go in and out. It was Leon Bond III who just could not knock it down. That's his fourth shot that he has missed today. He does have 12 points. And St. John's looking to attack on the other side, and a foul will be called against Northern Iowa. It'll be in the act of shooting after Bryce Hopkins got the rebound. Looked like he was trying to just go coast to coast. And Bond, the third, gets called for another foul. That's his fourth. He has to be careful. He really has to be careful here. Ruben Prey is going to go to the line. 6 points for him today, and he is 2 for 3 from the field. And Prey's first free throw is up, and it's good to make it now 61-42 with 10:03 left to go in this second half. We got another game after this. We'll be doing Missouri versus Mississippi. And that game will get started at 10:10 p.m. Eastern Time. And that's the final game that we are doing tonight. Free throw number 2 is up, and it's in to make it now 62-42.
Excellent.
St. John's now with a 20-point lead. The Panthers have Bond in foul trouble, and Weisbrod, well, he has 3 fouls. He's in foul trouble, too. Taking it down the lane is Campbell, and he hits a spin-around, turnaround jumper and makes it back to a 18-point deficit as he cuts the deficit again for St. John's. Campbell with 14 points. He's 5 for 10 shooting-wise in this game. At the top of the key, it's Prey. You got Darling, Prey, Jackson, Hopkins, and Mitchell for St. John's, and another whistle called. It'll be against the Panthers, and that'll provide another stoppage in play. But yes, want to make sure that I can read this really, really quickly. Guess who's back? Back again. Benny's back. Tell a friend. Layup is up. It's no good. Benny, thanks so much for being on here. So the first layup was no good. Second offensive rebound and a three-point shot by Bryce Hopkins. He can't get it that time. Hopkins, again, tries to drive with a layup, and we're going to have a foul called. Is it an offensive foul? No, it's just a blocking foul called against Northern Iowa. 9 minutes and 9 seconds left to be played. The winner, by the way, of this game between St. John's and Northern Iowa, they will be playing. Just want to make sure that I get this correct. Who do they play? They are going to be playing the winner of Kansas versus California Baptist, and that game will be on Sunday. They're a part of the east side of the bracket. .909 left to go in the second half of this game, and the free throw by St. John's, good. Excellent. Ian Jackson does go 2 for 2 from the line. Dylan Mitchell will sub on out, and Jason Sanan is going to sub on in for St. John's. The ball is going to go on out of bounds, and it'll be last touched by Northern Iowa. 20-point lead for St. John's. The Red Storm started off a little bit cold in the second half, but then they've gathered themselves together and have done a much better job at just taking care of the basketball. 8 minutes and 55 seconds left to go in the second half of play. Downhill is Campbell driving around the timeline. Tries to hit a very tough reverse jump shot, or layup, I should say, and that's no good. The rebound will belong to Jackson, and he'll take it towards the right side of the wing. He'll try to throw it, and it's intercepted. What a nice pick that was by Campbell. And they'll have to reset their offense. Another dribble handoff at the top of the key, and that goes over to Weisbrod. Weisbrod will get it back over on the far corner, swings it over to his teammate, that's Schweiger, and Schweiger is going to take it back over towards the top of the key. Schweiger, downhill, takes it over to Smith, and Smith's layup inside won't fall. 8 minutes and 15 seconds left to go. Rebound goes to Sanan. And that is just his second rebound of the game. St. John's, again, moving from left to right. They play against the winner of Kansas or Cal Baptist. That game will begin now probably at 10 o'clock. Just wanted to throw that out there. 7:58 left to go, and we do have another timeout taken. It'll be a media timeout with less than 8 minutes left to play. Very, very nice. Mr. Drummond says, what a dud of a game. Uni was on the verge of coming back and got it down to 13. I know. I hear you, man. Unfortunately, this game is turning out to be a real stinker. Yeah, I know. Nothing that I can do, of course, about that. Just controlling what we can control. But again, thank you all so much for being on here. The name is Jason Joseph, and this is Play-by-Play with JJ. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and turn on the bell icons too. And that way you will know when we do go live. So it's a 20-point lead for St. John's against Northern Iowa, as they've been playing very, very strong basketball. Other scores around the March Madness landscape. Purdue is up 78-49 against Queens College with 8:38 left to go. UCLA leads it 58-44 against UCF. And we also just had a final score that was posted. Iowa did beat Clemson 67-61. On the women's side of things, well, as far as things do go for them, Michigan State is up 52-49. Not really any upsets so far. Really none. NC State is up 42-29. That game is in the third quarter. So the Vols are down by 13 points. Texas beat Missouri State today 87-45. Michigan won against Holy Cross 83-48 there. LSU really just took that game on over in the first quarter all the way on and beat Jacksonville 116-58. Duke won 81-64 against Charleston, and TCU beat UC San Diego 86-40. The Tar Heels did win against Western Illinois. 82-51 was the score of that game. And Minnesota won 75-58 against Green Bay. Murray State lost 99-67 against Maryland. Gonzaga, the Bulldogs, they did lose to Ole Miss by a score of 81-66 on the women's side of things. Baylor also beat Nebraska 67-62. Washington won 72-54, and Oregon, they beat Virginia Tech. The score of that game was 70-60. And so that is what's going on the women's side of the bracket. Oh, gosh. Purdue is now up by 29 points. Tell you what, Braden Smith is having himself a very, very good game. 23 points and 6 assists for him. Been going off very, very strongly. So we are back in action in the St. John's game. They lead it by 20 points. Downhill over on the block, trying to take the layup inside. That is going to be Hopkins, and he can't hit it. It was excellent defense. Leon Bond is going to get the rebound in that possession. We have another layup by Will Hornseth for Northern Iowa going on the left side of the lane, and I believe that he got fouled there. Hornseth with just 8 points in this one. He does have 4 rebounds, and he has 2 assists for Northern Iowa. Bond with 12. He is shooting 6 for 10 from the field. And free throws coming on up for Will Hornseth. 8 points and 4 rebounds for him. First foul shot, it's way too short. They did call that foul on Osiah Sellers. That was his 3rd personal foul of the game. Ugh. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. I've got Purdue winning it all, says Long Ball. You got Purdue winning it all on the women's side? Wow. Free throw number 2. Doink. No good. Or is that on the men's side? That's on the men's side, right? Purdue is up 82-53. Okay. Yeah, now I'm paying attention. 64-44 with 7:20 left to go in the second half of this game. The lineup now for St. John's. They got Mitchell, Ejiofor, Darling, Sellers, and Sanan. Ejiofor thought about taking the 3, and he misfired it. And Northern Iowa looking to attack on the other side. Ejiofor plays really good defense. Can't get the rebound, though. And it'll be Campbell who lays it up and lays it on in for Northern Iowa. It's now an 18-point lead for St. John's. Another timeout called as we are just a little bit under the 7-minute marker. After Leon Bond missed the dunk, Ejiofor played strong defense on him. He got a block, and then just got deflected right on in to Campbell's hands. And now it's back to an 18-point game with 6:59 to go. All right, folks. The name is Jason Joseph. This is Play by Play with JJ. Hit that thumbs up button and hit that subscribe button as well. We got the Hurricanes playing later tonight. That game will begin at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. They're taking on the Tigers. Who do you guys have for that game? That game should be really good. I'm very, very excited about that game. The Miami Hurricanes, they finished off the season 25-8. They are honestly 3-2 in their last 5 games. They did lose to Virginia. They did beat Louisville after they lost to Louisville, but they are going to be playing against the Missouri Tigers. Okay, so a timeout was called, and now we are back out of the timeout. St. John's will have the ball, and they will swing it around the timeline. The ball finds Hopkins downhill. Hopkins is going to pass it over to Sellers, and Sellers tries to hit the layup inside. No good. Rebounded by Weisbrod. The ball gets swung around the timeline. Weisbrod for a 3. No good. Man, they needed that. Weisbrod was just trying to take that thing from the logo, and he could not hit the shot there. They are 0 for 3 from beyond the arc in this half. Their three-point shooting has just been absolutely shivering, ice cold. Mitchell will swing it around over back to Sellers, and Sellers delivers it back towards the near side of the key. Darling puts up a three-point shot. Very good contest there made by Bond. And the rebound goes to Northern Iowa's way. The ball is pinballed around the timeline. It'll find Schweiger at the top of the key. Takes it down the lane. Spins around. Turns around over Ejiofor. Puts up a 2. He's fouled. Didn't make the shots, but he will go to the line and shoot himself a pair of free throws. Ejiofor is starting to look a little bit tired out there. 11 points and 9 rebounds, but tell you, even though he's obviously won a Big East Defensive Player of the Year, tell you, the Panthers have not been afraid of going downhill and making this guy work. Free throw number 1 is up, and it's good by Hornseth. Hornseth did get fouled. Zuby now has 2 personal fouls in this game. Darling has 2. Sellers has 2. And Mitchell has 2 as well. Bond has 4 for Northern Iowa. And he has got to be careful. 64-48 as Hornseth will make the first free throw. Also is going to make the second one as well. We'll have another stoppage in play. There's going to be a kicked ball violation called. Will Hornseth just subbed on out for Tristan Smith for Northern Iowa. Weisbrod just got called for his 3rd foul. I thought maybe there was a kick ball violation, but I stand corrected. And at the line is Ejiofor, as they are over the foul limits. It's a 1-and-1 situation. First free throw, he makes it. And makes it 65-48. One ball says the men's. Oh, man. $12 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 blocks for Zuby Ejiofor. Hosea Sellers will sub on out for St. John's, and Bryce Hopkins is now back on in for St. John's. Free throw number 2, in and out it goes. Excellent box out there, provided by Schweiger. No chance for Mitchell to get around him. Schweiger looking to go down the lane. Double team comes. Excellent bounce pass that goes into the breadbasket of Smith. And Smith is going to lay it on in. And now it's back to a 15-point game. That'll make it 65-50. St. John's got trapped in the backcourt, and they're going to be able to pass it over towards their front court side. Here's a 3-point shot that's up and no good by Sinan. Offensive rebound provided by Ejiofor, and they're going to reset it again at the top of the key. Sinan over to Darling. And they have a little 2-man game going on. It'll be pinballed around the timeline. Mitchell now has it. Mitchell trying to give it back over to Ejiofor, who gets trapped and somehow, someway finds Darling in the corner for a wide-open 3, but he can't make it. Oh, man. He had a beautiful opportunity to try to make that shot and knock it down. Here comes a tray on the other side by Northern Iowa. It was Weisbrod, and he misfired that one as well. St. John's gets the rebound. They lead it by 15 points. Okay, Sinan looking to give it back over to Hopkins downhill, and Hopkins lays it on home. Hopkins with 13 points and 6 boards in this game, and boy, did he need that. Big time shot by him, And that'll give it back to a 17-point lead for St. John's. A turnaround jump shot is up and it's no good. How about that defense provided by Ejiofor? Bond looked to try to take him to school, and that did not work out in his favor. Mitchell around the timeline, zips it all the way to another three-point shot by Sanan, and it'll connect that time from the left side of the wing and give St. John's a 20-point lead. Jason Sanan may have just put a dagger on the game with 3:50 left to be played. Downhill on the near side of the court, again, is going to be Campbell. And he's been very quiet in the second half. Campbell puts up a three, and it's denied by Ejiofor as he gets his third block of the game. 3 blocks and 2 steals for him. He's been very incredible on the defensive side of the ball over the last 5 minutes or so. Trey Campbell misfired the 3, and St. John's has the rock again. Another 3 in the corner. It's up, and it's good. Let's go. Was that Sanan again who just fired that 3 and made it? It was. And now it's a 23-point lead. Here's a reverse layup inside, and that's no good. That was Smith who just was not able to connect on the reverse layup. And now 2:55 left to go in this game. 23-point lead for St. John's. And they are, again, going to play the winner of that California game versus Kentucky. California Baptist Lancers, or it's the Kansas Jayhawks. That's the winner that they will face on Sunday. 2:25 left to be played. Northern Iowa is going to have possession of the basketball. It'll be Campbell again driving towards the baseline, and we have a foul issued on St. John's. So this game really has gone the way that I expected it to go. I mean, we talked about it before that St. John's just has very big bigs. I mean, they really do. They have a lot of athleticism to them. They're very good at just providing a lot of pressure on their players. So we have 2 minutes and 20 seconds left to be played in this game. We'll take another very quick timeout. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. we got ourselves a 1-1 situation as Ian Jackson will sub on out. Trey Campbell misses the free throw, and it's going to be rebounded by St. John's. So it's Smith, Bond the third, Weisbrod, Campbell, and Schweiger out there for Northern Iowa. And for St. John's, they got Mitchell, Ejiofor, and then it's Hopkins and Sanan and Jackson out there as their starting five for St. John's. Here's a little floater inside. That shot goes up, and that one is good. Zuby Ejiofor was able to knock down the layup there. And that makes it now 75-50 with 90 seconds left to go. How about 26 points from the St. John's bench? They definitely have outscored this Northern Iowa basketball team. After getting off to a slow start in that second half, they were just able to provide some really good ball movement and get guys like Ejiofor and Hopkins involved in the action a little bit more. And they were just able to take on over. 1 minute left to play in this second half. It's a 22-point lead for St. John's. Here's an alley-oop jam that's up and good. And Mitchell was able to put the finishing touches on this game. 50 seconds left to go. A 24-point lead for St. John's. And a layup inside. That's up and that's in. And that'll make it 79-53. The layup was good. Dylan Mitchell was able to provide that shot, and that was up and on in for them. Mitchell then just got the defensive rebound, and Jackson made a driving layup with about 45 seconds left to go to put St. John's up now 79-53. So we got Missouri playing against the Miami Hurricanes tonight, and that game will be at 10 o'clock. Make sure that you guys stay on for that, as we will be back in just a little bit covering that game. What else do I want to say? That is a part of the east side, right? No, they must be on the west. Yeah, they're going to be playing against Purdue or Queens. But really, they're going to be playing against Purdue because it's 104-69 with 21 seconds left to go in that game. So we'll cover that game next. That should be a lot of fun. 79-53 is the final score as Northern Iowa gets knocked out by St. John's. And 26 points is the difference of this game. So St. John's does take care of business, and they played exceptionally well tonight in that second half and just were able to take care of business, and they did a good job taking care of the basketball. With that, that's going to wrap it up for me. We'll be back on in about 36 minutes or so for the very next game. We'll see the Miami Hurricanes take on the Missouri Tigers. Love you all, and I will catch you all on the next one. Peace out.